A new prime suspect has officially emerged in the mystery of Theo Silverton's shocking demise on Coronation Street, and let me tell you, this is a massive game changer. We have 6 main people who had every reason to want the ultimate revenge on Theo, but only one of them actually has a history of causing someone's permanent exit. That is right, reformed bad boy Gary Windass might not be so reformed after all. Could he be the one who finally ended Theo's reign of terror? The evidence is piling up fast, and the cobbles are shaking. Before we dive deep into this explosive theory and uncover exactly what Gary has been hiding, please make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to Coronation Street Update so you never miss out on the latest juicy street gossip and breaking spoilers. Let us talk about Theo Silverton. Calling him evil feels like a massive understatement. This guy had his fair share of enemies, and honestly, can you blame them? Todd Grimshaw went through absolute hell for the better part of a year. He suffered through routine, emotional, financial, and even sensual mistreatment from this absolute monster. Naturally, Todd's fiercely loyal friends, George Shuttleworth and Christina Boyd, had more than enough motive to want Theo completely out of the picture. Then you have Summer Spellman, who is carrying around some incredibly heavy trauma after Theo basically left her adoptive dad Billy Mayhew to meet his tragic end. And let us not forget the classic wildcard in any mystery, the deeply scorned ex-wife, Danielle Silverton. Hell hath no fury, right? But then, right in the middle of this suspect lineup sits Gary Windass. He is the absolute wild card here, because for a long time, he was the only person on that entire list who could have genuinely been called Theo's friend. But Gary is fiercely protective, and he absolutely despises bullies. We all remember how he reacted when his stepson, Liam Connor, was being completely targeted and tormented at school. In a moment of pure fury, Gary lost his cool and went after the teenager responsible. That is Gary's personality in a nutshell. Or at least, that is who we thought he was leaving in the past. He might have seemed to mellow out quite a bit since settling down to a quiet life with Maria Connor, but let us be totally real here. Gary has a couple of very real skeletons in his closet, and I mean that quite literally. Let us do a quick recap of Gary's extremely dark history. Not only was he the one secretly responsible for the catastrophic factory roof collapse that directly resulted in the tragic passing of Rana Habib, but he also perfectly shifted all the blame onto Carla Connor without blinking an eye. Then there is the massive secret of how he dealt with the ruthless loan shark, Rick Nealon. Gary caused his permanent demise in an act of self-defense. But instead of walking away, he took over the underground business and became just as ruthless as the man he replaced. So when we talk about whether Gary has it in him to cause someone's death, the answer is a resounding yes. He has a trigger-hair temper, but the fascinating thing about Gary is that almost all of his most destructive, life-altering actions stem from a deeply rooted desire to protect the people closest to him. He is strong, fiercely loyal, and he absolutely refuses to be taken for a fool. And that right there is exactly why his feelings toward Theo shifted from loyalty to pure, unadulterated hatred. You see, the two of them actually started off as the best of mates. They shared a real camaraderie, a genuine bond, and Gary even brought Theo into his inner circle by employing him as a scaffolder at the builder's yard. But Theo is a master manipulator. He completely pulled the wool over Gary's eyes, just like he did with everyone else on the street. Gary was totally blind to his so-called friend's true colours. He did not even see the massive red flags during Theo's highly disturbing shotgun wedding, where poor Todd was practically marched down the aisle against his will. It was not until Sarah Platt finally sat Gary down and listed out every single toxic, alarming detail of their relationship that the awful truth finally dawned on him. And when Gary realizes he has been played, things get incredibly dangerous. Betrayed and utterly furious, Gary did not just fire Theo and cut ties. He implicitly threatened his very existence. After Theo crossed the ultimate line, severely going after Todd and putting him right into a hospital bed, Gary snapped. He forced the wrongdoer into his car and drove him straight to the police station, making it crystal clear that if Theo did not go quietly, he would be dealt with severely, using a very heavy tool from the yard. It was a chilling moment that proved the old Gary was still very much alive inside, but Theo, being incredibly arrogant, completely refused to leave Coronation Street. He arrogantly flouted his protection order against Todd, parading around like he was untouchable. That was the final straw. Gary turned incredibly nasty. In a fit of pure rage, he took a heavy tool and completely redecorated Theo's van, causing massive damage. Unfortunately for Gary, in his blind anger, he forgot one crucial detail. His little fit of vengeance was perfectly captured on CCTV. And, as if that was not bad enough, there is the incredibly sketchy matter of the text message Gary sent to Theo's phone immediately after the incident. Just 4 terrifying words. "I am coming for you." Talk about leaving a digital paper trail of intent. Fast forward to this week, right in the explosive aftermath of Theo's shocking death, and Gary's actions are making him look guiltier than ever. He is actively taking major steps to eradicate any incriminating evidence that could tie him to the demise of his former friend. In a highly tense moment on the cobbles today, we saw the bad boy builder frantically deleting the CCTV footage that showed him damaging Theo's van. It is classic cover-up behaviour, but unfortunately for Gary, the authorities are not messing around. Kit Green is officially on the case, and his radar is already going crazy. He is highly suspicious of the local builder. In the upcoming episodes, we are going to see the Cobbles copper start to completely hyper-focus on Gary, pursuing him more and more relentlessly in his ultimate quest to find out exactly who is responsible for Theo's death. The walls are starting to close in. Next Monday's episode is going to be incredibly tense. Kit and Lisa Swain sit down to review the facts, and they both completely agree on one major detail. Gary's alibi simply does not stack up. It is full of holes. But the big question is, do they actually believe Gary is the one who caused the ultimate demise? It certainly looks that way by Wednesday. The tension skyrockets when the police show up completely unannounced at the builder's yard. They are not just there to ask friendly questions. They start aggressively gathering potential physical evidence, and what do they zero in on? Some of the scaffolding poles. It really looks like Gary is firmly in pole position as suspect number 1. The implications are huge. However, every good soap mystery has its twists, and the police investigation is about to hit a massive, frustrating dead end. Lisa has to deliver some seriously bad news to Kit. Despite their best tech efforts, they completely failed to retrieve the deleted CCTV footage from Gary's computer. Without that visual proof of Gary's violent outburst, they are essentially forced back to square one in their desperate search for Theo's attacker. But if you think Kit is just going to let this go, you are deeply mistaken. Kit is not giving up that easily. Later on the street, in a highly dramatic confrontation, he directly approaches Gary. Kit looks him dead in the eye and makes it absolutely unapologetically clear that regardless of the missing footage, Gary is still sitting comfortably at the very top of his suspect list. The cat and mouse game is officially on. So what do you guys think? Did Gary actually do it? Did he let his protective rage take over completely, leading him to cause the death of the street's biggest monster? And more importantly, if he did do it, is the master of cover-ups going to manage to get away with a permanent crime yet again? Let me know your biggest theories down in the comments below.